A new effort underway to help job seekers in Marion County. The new online tool from Employ Indy and Ascend Indiana aims to bridge the gap between those looking for a job and companies looking to hire. We are committed to sharing programs like this through our Hiring Hoosiers initiative. WRTV's Megan Sanctorum explains how the rapid reemployment response works.
The goal is to help thousands of people who live or want to work in Marion County find a job and recover from the economic impacts of the pandemic. As companies close or reduce staff, many people are finding themselves in need of a new job. In fact, according to the mayor, about 120,000 people in Marion County filed for unemployment between March and June. That's 12% of the total population. But now, a new free resource to help those people out. This website just opened to people of all backgrounds and skill levels. Those in need of a job can log on, make an account, and be connected with employers, training opportunities, and career coaches.
We continue to segment the data around unemployment benefits to understand the populations and industries most disproportionately affected and try to connect those individuals working in that space or previously working in that space where the new opportunities are existent as a result of having this platform.
This particular program just launched today, but those who have worked with Employ Indy in the past to find a new job say the knowledge, connections, and resources they offer are invaluable. One man who just got a new job after months of searching has this advice for the unemployed.
It had to be me to take the first step forward, to take it, then to have, the hunger, to drive the curiosity, to get online, and then to use these online tools.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
And we will have a link to the online portal in this story on our website, WRTV.com. We also have plenty of additional resources and stories posted on our Hiring Hoosiers page online. Now to the latest coronavirus numbers in our state. 841 more Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. Those results recorded between August 12th and yesterday. The overall positivity rate remains at 8.7%, but the 7-day positivity rate has dropped to 6.8%. That 7-day period is August 11th through the 18th. Overall, more than 88,400 Hoosiers have tested positive. 15 more Hoosiers have died from COVID-19. Those deaths occurred between Friday and yesterday. The total number of deaths now stands at 3,023.
And tonight, more than 500,000 people have been ordered to evacuate the Texas and Louisiana coasts ahead of Hurricane Laura. This is a few of the storm images from the International Space Station. Forecasters expect Laura to grow to a major Category 3 hurricane over the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico before hitting the U.S. coastline late Wednesday or early Thursday. And we just learned that 25 members of Indiana Task Force 1 will leave tonight for the Gulf Coast area to be ready to assist in potential search and rescue efforts. And Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is here to fill us in on Laura's current strength and path and if the storm will impact Indiana. Kevin.
And it's coming closer. The storm tracks. We'll have more on that in a second. It's going to rapidly intensify here over the next 36 hours. Winds now sustained at 80 miles per hour, Category 1 storm. By the time we go overnight Wednesday into Thursday is when this should make landfall. Category 3 winds of 111 to 129. Then watch the curve to this. The trend has been taking this red line, which is kind of the center of possibilities of the track, but moving it closer to the Ohio River. By the time we get to 2 o'clock Saturday, it'll be well to our east. This is the predicted timing of the landfall, 2 a.m. on Thursday, right along the Texas-Louisiana coastline. And then you see it curl to the north and east, and then slowly start to push into Kentucky, Tennessee, and eventually probably at least southern Indiana. That would be Friday into Saturday. Okay, we've got our own thunderstorms around. Some of these, they build up, produce some 50-mile-per-hour gusts. Some pea-sized hail potentially, and then fade away. You can see what's fading between Lafayette and Crawfordsville, north of Rockville. And you just had a nice little downpour near Carmel, there, and gone. But see these little squiggly lines? Those are outflow, the cooler air coming out from these showers and thunderstorms that will help build additional until the sun starts to set, and then that will close down this whole thing. As far as any thunderstorms with strength, Rushville could see some 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts with torrential rainfall, and there's been a warning for a storm producing 60 mile per hour winds near Brookville Reservoir. That drops to the south and east toward Cincinnati. We'll be back, talk about our changes that do develop later in the week and what doesn't go anywhere for a while.
And new developments tonight in the case of the Wisconsin man shot multiple times by police. Jacob Blake's father says his son is paralyzed from the waist down. The father says doctors don't know yet if the injury is permanent. The shooting on Sunday in Kenosha was captured on cell phone video and ignited new protests about racial injustice. Kenosha police say they were responding to a domestic incident when officers encountered Blake, though it's unclear what exactly led to the shooting. The officers involved are now on administrative leave as the Department of Justice investigates.
Democracy 2020 and the race for the White House. It is night 2 of the Republican National Convention. The president and party leaders say the tone of the 4-day convention will be focusing on optimism. Tonight, First Lady Melania Trump will headline the evening with a speech from the White House Rose Garden. And as ABC's Andrew Dimbert reports, we're told once again her speech will be very uplifting.
Tonight, the Republican National Convention continues. Night 2 of the RNC looks to build up President Trump's first-term policies while issuing warnings about a Joe Biden presidency.
This president has a record of strength and success. The former vice president has a record of weakness and failure.
After criticizing last week's Democratic convention, President Trump promised Americans his big event would feature optimism and hope, telling Fox News
is going to be a very positive, as opposed to a dark, a very, very positive message.
But Tim Scott, the lone black Republican senator, was one of the few to take the podium with messages of inspiration and a brighter future for the American people.
We have work to do, but I believe in the goodness of America.
Others using the center stage to voice grievances with Democrats lined with dire warnings about what a Biden presidency would mean for America.
Don't let them destroy your families, your lives, and your future.
But against the backdrop of a struggling economy and more than 176,000 American lives lost to coronavirus, counter-programming from Democrats aiming to undermine the GOP message. From this new Joe Biden ad,
grandparents left to die alone,
to these images from the Democratic National Committee projected onto buildings around Washington, D.C., near the base for the RNC speeches. And tonight, it's First Lady Melania Trump's turn to take the spotlight, delivering her remarks from the Rose Garden at the White House. Other notable Day 2 speakers include Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky, White House Economic Advisor Larry Kudlow, and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, controversially participating in the convention from Israel, embracing partisan politics, which his State Department predecessors avoided. And some of the Democrats' counter-programming is expected to continue tonight. The DNC reportedly releasing more ads that paint the Republican convention as chaos. Last week, the president repeatedly criticized the Democratic National Convention, calling it boring. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
Well, the convention runs through Thursday. Coverage kicks off each night at 7 o'clock on ABC News Live. That's the network's streaming channel. Primetime coverage here on WRTV will begin at 10 o'clock each night.
Tomorrow, the Marion County Election Board plans to finalize its vote center plan for the November election. In the delayed primary held in June, there were only 22 locations where voters could cast their ballots on Election Day, which led to very long lines that was due to lack of poll workers. But the situation is already looking better for November. According to Russell Hollis, the deputy director of the Marion County Clerk's Office, approximately 1,300 poll workers are already signed up for November, which he said is ahead of where they normally are in their recruiting process. They need about 2,000 total. Hollis said they would like to staff about 200 vote centers. There were about 270 in November 2019. If you are interested in becoming a poll worker in Marion County, you can sign up at pollworker.indy.gov. And also at tomorrow's election board meeting, the number and location of early voting sites will also be determined. Early in-person voting begins October 6th. You must register to vote by October 5th.
Now just ahead here on WRTV, she's the head of the state's largest school system, but today she's head of the class. The lesson the IPS superintendent learned for herself when she decided to teach a virtual class. Also tonight, you're going to see what happens to a woman when her childhood wish comes true. A celebrity experience thanks to a charity helping kids live their best life. Next.
And a nice little downpour just on the south side of Indy when you get out of 465 there in Marion County. Strongest storm now near Rushville, then also Brookville Reservoir, some 50-mile-per-hour gusts. We'll talk about what changes as we go through the week coming up.
Today, the city of Indianapolis announced when it will reopen streets closed in May to allow for outdoor dining to help struggling businesses during the pandemic. Crews will have Broad Ripple Avenue reopened by September 8th, and barriers along Mass Ave will be removed later that week. The city says businesses that have expanded seating into parking spaces along the street can continue to operate in these areas. The temporary pedestrian area along Georgia Street between Pennsylvania and Meridian Streets, which has no street parking spaces, will continue to be closed to traffic. While all the students in Indianapolis public schools are learning remotely, the leader of the state's largest public school system decided to teach a virtual class.
A habit that good readers have is they make connections when they're reading.
Alicia Johnson visited Meredith Nicholson Elementary School today to get a first-hand look at teaching online, the job all of her teachers are doing. The IPS superintendent delivered a literacy lesson to a fourth grade class for about 45 minutes. This is the first year that all students have a computer to learn from home after a $16.5 million investment. The superintendent says teachers are focused on making sure kids don't fall behind while they are not in the classroom.
We just have to be thoughtful about that and really think beyond just this year on how we are making up for that time, because it's going to take us more than this year, particularly since we don't even know right now what the year is going to play out to be.
Johnson says she may teach another class if time allows.
A limo, red carpet, a trip to the jewelry store, and diamonds. Sounds like the celebrity treatment for sure, and that's exactly what one young woman from Carmel received today thanks to Make-A-Wish. Annie from Carmel was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis at the age of 7. She was nominated years ago for a Make-A-Wish from Make-A-Wish, but her mom says they felt at the time that there were other children who had a more immediate need to have a wish granted. But her mom said Annie has since experienced some rough years with hospitalization. So today, at the age of 21, it was Annie's turn to have her wish granted. A limo dropped her off at Diamonds Direct on the north side of Indianapolis. Her wish, a celebrity-like experience with a shopping spree where she could pick and try on diamonds and pick out a timeless piece of jewelry.
It's already kind of aged out of the Make-A-Wish, but they did file extensions for her because they really wanted to do something sweet and special for her. And so they came up with this idea, and I thought it was great.
At the end of the day, I think she realized that having the experience of being a celebrity herself and then having something to take home with her that she can keep to remember this day really was the heart of her wish, really brought a smile to her face that like clicked. This is the thing that will give me the hope that I want for my wish.
Well, it was a tough decision, but in the end, Annie chose a white gold bracelet, but Diamonds Direct also gave her 2 stackable diamond band rings and a diamond bangle. Annie's mom said her daughter's life has really turned around since she started a new drug in November. She's had no hospitalization since then and says she has great lung function. We wish her all the best, and it looks like she'll just be sparkling around town.
And it was dry walking in and out of there today. That may not be the case this evening wherever you're wandering over the next couple of hours. But once we get to sunset, everything calms down. Well, the one thing that won't be changing here over the next several days, it'll be sticking around, the humidity. It's tropical out there. We won't see a real change in the humidity until we get to the end of the week. It'll start to fall Saturday, but you really feel the difference as we get to Sunday. That'll be the moment where you feel the weight of the humidity lifted off your shoulders. As you look at